Hey, amazing students. All right, guys. So here are some tips and tricks to remember for the exam. I'm going to start off with Desmos, and then I'm going to do a second video about just some quick reminders. Please remember, study that study guide that I made. Okay, there's plenty of example problems, how to do this, that, and the other. All right, let's go. So let's start with Desmos. So solve for x. Now, I hope at this point we all can solve for x by hand. But I want to remind you that you do get Desmos. So if I was solving this by hand, I would subtract 0.75x from both sides, giving me 1.25x minus 8 equals 5. Add 8 to both sides. 1.25x equals 13. Divide both sides by 1.25. Let me use my calculator. 10.4. So I did it by hand, but now I'm going to go check myself on Desmos. So on Desmos, I can't just put in that equation. Instead, I have to put in 1/2, so 2x minus 8, and that's going to give me a linear line. And then I'm going to put in the other half, 0.75x plus 5. When I do that, I'm looking for where the two lines cross, their solution. Well, bam, 10.4, there's my x value. So x equals 10.4. So graph the two, find where they cross. The x value is 10.4. Let's look at some more Desmos tips and tricks. So let's say I had a table and I want to find the slope and y-intercept for the table. Again, hopefully we know how to do this by hand. The top column is usually always the x values, the bottom one is the y's. So when I do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, 21 minus 13 over 8 minus 4, 21 minus 13 is 8. 8 over 4 is 4. 8 over 4 is 2. So I know my slope is 2. This is my slope formula. It's on my slope. It's on my formula chart. And then to find the y-intercept, plug in a point into y equals mx plus b. So the y value is 29. The slope was 2. The x value is 12 that I chose plus b. 2 times 12 is 24. So 29 equals 24 plus b. Subtract 24 from both sides. And I'm going really fast because, guys, all I'm trying to do is show you how to do this on Desmos, okay? So here's my slope. Here's my y-intercept. Let's see how Desmos will do that for me. So on Desmos, again, I'm going to add a table, so plus sign table, and I'm going to add in those values. So the x values for 4, 8, and 12, the y values, let me go look real quick, were 13, 21, and 29. Okay, if you notice, those are going to pop up on your graph. In here, I want it to give me the equation y equals mx plus b, right? But I can't just type in y equals mx plus b because the table says y1. This needs to say y1. Because the table says x1, this needs to say x1 because it needs to read the table. And instead of an equal sign, I'm going to put my little squiggle sign. So y1 squiggle mx1 plus b. Well, look, m stands for slope. So my slope is 2, my y-intercept is 5. And again, this is not on your formula chart, y1 squiggle mx1 plus b. This is, if you're going to use this, something you need to memorize. All right, let's look at some more Desmos tips and tricks. And I am trying to make this video a quick one so that you do not just try to fast forward me. All right, finding slope and y-intercept of a graph. And how can I use Desmos? Well, from here, I want, okay, the y-intercept is 7. My slope, find 2 points on my line. My slope is going down. This line is going down, so my slope is negative. And this is going by 1, so 1 over 2. Rise is 1, run is 2. So my slope is negative 1/2. So my equation should be y equals negative 1/2 x plus 7. How can I use Desmos? Well, put this equation into Desmos and see if it matches exactly the graph that you have here. Okay, so literally you could check yourself on Desmos if you take the time, right? So y equals negative 1/2 x, oops, negative 1/2 x plus 7. And when I do that, there's exactly the line. y-intercept is 7, slope of 1/2, goes down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, negative 1/2 slope. Let's look at some more tips and tricks on Desmos. I like saying that over and over again. Okay. Putting numbers in order from least to greatest. Well, remember, guys, you get a calculator. But doing it by hand, 5 over 2 is 2.5. The square root of 2, I think, is like 2.14 or something. Let me check really quickly on my calculator. Let's see. Square root of 2. Oh, just kidding. That's 1.41. Sorry. 1.41. 252%. To change a percent to a decimal, 2 places to the left. So 2.52. And this should be 2.54. So then 2.54. So if I want to put these in order from least to greatest, the least number would be the 1.41. But to figure out the next number, they all say 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. Well, that means I need to look at the hundreds place. So the least next one would be 2.50, then 2.52, and then 2.54. Now, how do I figure out that order in Desmos? And I have not shown this year because y'all have just absolutely knocked it out the park doing those. But just in case you did want to check yourself, in the table, you can put those values in. So it was 5 over 2. It was the square root of 2. It was 252%, but instead of putting it as a percent, let's go ahead and put that as a decimal, so 2.52. And then the next number was 2.54. Okay, and if I put zeros here for y, if I scroll into my graph on the x-axis, and I'm having to use my laptop. When I do that, I want you to notice, let me scroll out just a little bit. If I click each of these, it shows me each number in order from least to greatest. 1.41, 2.5, 2.52, 2.54. Isn't that cool? But anyways, again, I did not show you this year because y'all had just knocked it out of the park. So least to greatest would be going from left to right. Greatest to least would be going right to left. But in case this does make sense to you, yeah, use it. Absolutely. Let's look at some more tips and tricks on Desmos. All right. Scientific notation. Wow, this number is humongous. This number is greater than 1. So immediately I know my b is positive. So a times 10 to the power of b. Remember, my decimal is right here, but I want to move it where there's only one number in front of it. So right here. So I know my number is going to be 4.05 times 10 to the power of, well, I moved it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places to the power of 6. How can I check that on Desmos? Well, type that in. So when I type in 4.05 times 10 to the power of 6, that gives me my original number. So I know I was correct. Gucci. All right, let's keep looking. I think there's only a couple more Desmos tips and tricks I wanted to show you. Oh, no, that was it. So there's your Desmos tips and tricks. I hope that was helpful. Trying to stop the recording. There we go.